Welcome to BizJet TV. My name is Fabrizio Poli. Today in this episode we're going to be talking about flight simulators. Lots of questions been asked. Are flight simulators useful? I'm buying a small aeroplane. I've been offered a quick 1-week course in the aeroplane instead of going to flight safety for 3 weeks. Should I do that course or should I go to the simulator? So we're going to be talking about that, the importance of flight simulators, and also talking about flight simulators at home. Are these useful or not? Because I know some of you are also pilots that watch this channel. So this is what we're going to be getting into today. If you haven't subscribed to BizJet TV, please subscribe to this channel. All about private aviation and lots of other things to do with flying. That's what we talk about here. Give us a thumbs up and comment below. We like to hear from you, your suggestions and recommendations. Let's get straight into now flight simulators, and off we go. So flight simulators. Now the reason why I decided to do this video is because I was talking to a friend of mine a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about his boss had been type rated in a Falcon 50, and he hadn't actually gone to a simulator to train. He trained in the airplane, and the instructor that trained him had actually never been in this flight simulator in his life. Now there are people I've heard of doing training in an aircraft like a small Citation jet, Honda Jet, Phenom 100, these kind of aircraft, but and you can do the course in a week instead of spending 2 or 3 weeks at the flight simulator training center, where you do some ground school and then you also are in the flight simulator. Now I recommend against that. I would always train in the simulator because there's so much more you can learn and you can do in a simulator. So don't cut corners. If you're just buying an aircraft right now and you're going to put yourself through training to fly it, whether it's a King Air or PC-12, or Cessna Citation CJ3, don't cut corners and try and go and do a quick course on the airplane. Go and do the proper course. Do the proper ground school. Do the proper training in the simulator. I know it's going to cost you more money, but it's going to keep you safer. It's going to give you more knowledge, and it's going to give you more confidence. And when things go wrong, knowledge and confidence are two important factors which will bring you down the aircraft, allow you to bring the aircraft down safely on the ground. So definitely train in the simulator. Send your pilots to train in the simulator for the initial type rating and also for the recurrence. So every 6 months at least, if not more. And when they go, don't just have them train to the minimum requirements. Let them train different scenarios in the simulator. Because in the simulator, the instructors can freeze the simulator, talk through what maybe you're doing wrong, reposition you, have you go through the maneuver again and again until you get it right. It's not a testing device. It's often defined as an STD, which stands for synthetic training device. And that's what the simulator is. It's a training device. It's there to build knowledge and confidence in pilots so that when things do go wrong in the airplane, they know exactly what to do and they have the confidence to follow through. Now, another thing you can do in the simulator is upset recovery training. Now, upset recovery training has been introduced just recently because a lot of accidents have happened and caused by the airplane getting into unusual attitude, like nose up, or too much of a steep bank angle with a nose up or nose down, and the airplane got into this unusual attitude. The pilot did not recognize it was in one of these situations and the airplane crashed, or the pilot recognized he or she was in an unusual attitude and they didn't know how to recover. So now upset recovery training has been introduced in the simulator, where you train specifically on your aircraft to recognize and deal with these situations. But I would recommend sending your pilots, or putting yourself, if you're a pilot yourself, through upset recovery training in actual aircraft. A number of schools around the world that do this. It's usually like a 4-day initial and then a 2-day recurrent every year. And you do ground school, you then go up, you fly different aircraft, doing different maneuvers and that. And that's certainly something which will improve your situation awareness in these situations. And also you get a feel for these situations. And recognizing that feeling is important, because the instruments could have failed and you just get this feeling. Or some instruments may have failed. Being and going through those situations in an actual airplane is going to give you a lot of confidence and increase that situation awareness, which will keep you safe. So the upset recovery training is certainly something to do both in the simulator for your specific aircraft and also up in the air in the aircraft. But simulator training is a great thing. If you are learning to fly, I would recommend getting yourself one of these flight simulators at home. You know, there's X-Plane 11 or Microsoft Flight Simulator. Get some of the hardware. You know, you can get the yoke and thrust levers or the throttles and the pedals and that. You don't have to, you know, some people like go over the top and spend $20,000 on these simulators they have in their homes. You know, with a few $1,000s, you can put together a decent computer and a few bits of hardware which can help you to fly around in your home, which is useful. It won't substitute actual flying lessons, but it will complement them, and it's something that certainly you can use in between flying. Maybe not so much for basic flying when you're learning for your private pilot's lessons, but certainly when you're getting into you know, instrument flying and that, it's going to be very, very useful. But it's even useful for basic flying, but don't use it as a substitute to actual flying. It's there to complement your flying. It will improve your flying as well and your confidence. Again, these flight simulators at home are useful for those that, you know, fly as a hobby or have their own aircraft. But by all means, get into a real simulator. It's certainly a good investment. And the other thing is, you know, if you do all this simulator training and the upset recovery training, it will also reduce the cost for your insurance. So that's another thing there. But overall, it makes you a safer pilot. And that is really the main thing here. If you're spending money to, you know, buy your own airplane and fly around privately and not use the airlines, you know, spend the extra money, or let's say more than spend, invest the extra money in more training, and in particular in the simulator training, because it will keep you safe. So I'd like you to comment below what you think of this video about flight simulators and training. Check out also this video here we did on private jet pilot training, where we go more into detail about this, and also give us a thumbs up. And that's all from Fabrizio Poli on BizJet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.